Candelaria, no bailes así de duro, que no puedo agarrarte y ya me miran de lado. Deja el arrebato, negra, y me tienes bien doblado. Ey, Candelaria.
The founder of the company, David Cheroux, founded his first cigar factory in 1988 in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was actually located on the Strip. It was called Don Pablo Cigars. He operated his own manufacturing location where he rolled cigars and he sold them right there. So he was basically a manufacturer and a retailer. He sold the business 2 years later. That business still exists today on the Strip. It's called Don Pablo Cigars. From there, he left Las Vegas, Nevada, and opened up several locations in the San Diego County area. He was making approximately 60,000 cigars a month, and during that era, the cigar industry called that the cigar boom of the 90s. Mr. Cheroux kept those locations going for about 2 years until '97, when the industry took a little bit of a hit in the state of California. That's when they implemented their first smoking law, and they raised tobacco tax. At that time, David Cheroux sold his locations, and he and his daughter moved to New Orleans, Louisiana.
My father started this company under a different name about 25 years ago in Las Vegas. I joined him about 15 years ago when we moved from Vegas to San Diego. We were in San Diego for about 5 years, and at the point of which California became much more anti-smoking than any other state in the nation, he decided to sell his business at that time to his partner in San Diego, and this is when we moved to Louisiana. So in '99 we came here to New Orleans, been here since then in this location, and we're just keeping the original idea and the tradition alive from 25 years ago.
He opened up several locations here in the French Quarter area, and after a few months decided to consolidate and stick to just 2 locations. Location number 1 being the main factory here, 415 Decatur. At that time, he housed approximately 8 cigar makers. Those cigar makers' main function here was to showcase their art of cigar making to the public, which is very unusual because usually cigar makers are making cigars in a warehouse and they're shipped out to various retail locations. So it was a unique situation here for Mr. Cheroux. At that point, we were making approximately 30,000 plus cigars a month here daily. David Cheroux and I became partners in the early 90s. Just really good friends, and at that point, that's where I started learning a lot about tobacco and cigars. From there, we remained friends for multiple years, and at the end of my older career, which was law enforcement, that's when I bought into the company, and in 2004 came down to New Orleans. As you walk in our store, you have a smoking area where you can enjoy our fine product. As you continue further in our store, you'll have cigar makers and preparers of tobacco on your right and your left, so you can see the true form of cigar making. And this is where we really get into a relationship with our customer. Our salespeople are highly trained to go over and explain the cigar making process. Afterwards, they can go into our humidor and see the 3 different lines of high quality cigars that we manufacture here. And then once they pick the cigar of their choice, they can go to the back portion of our store and really enjoy our museum. Our museum consists of chronicles of the history of cigar making here in New Orleans. And this goes back to the early 1900s. We also have a section where you can purchase humidors to actually age at your home. What's the difference between a walk-in humidor and a humidor box? The unique thing about the humidor box, it's lined in Spanish cedar, so moisture can be maintained inside that humidor and keep your cigars stored properly. Cigars will last longer than you and I here on this earth based on being in the right climate. And that's why we do have humidors and walk-in humidors. Let me go into what it takes to actually run a cigar manufacturing company. First of all is tobacco. Secondly is who houses our cigar makers.
We only employ cigar makers, the rollers themselves, who have over 20 years experience. They come very highly recommended. They've worked and trained in all of the bigger factories in their home location, be it Dominican Republic or Cuba. The reason why they're working here is because they are proud of the tobacco that we use. They get paid well. They've got a great environment to work in.
We also have a master of preparing the tobacco for cigar makers. And what does that entail? That entails that person preparing the raw materials that we bring in from those countries, make sure that they're at their highest quality, so when the cigar maker sits at his bench, he can put all of his knowledge and his heart into that one cigar that he makes, which he makes actually 250 cigars that day. So you're getting the best that cigar maker can offer. The first leaf that they use in order to make a cigar is called binder. In this case, we use a 4-year-old Nicaraguan binder. And binder does exactly what the word means. It binds tobacco together.
The purpose of wetting the binder leaf is basically to make it easier and more workable for the rollers, so it doesn't crack nor break apart. This part of what I do is basically grabbing the filler, one of the 3 that we use, Viso, and basically open the bales, and I start separating the leaves and put them in piles. These leaves, once we lay them out, we let them sit an additional 3 to 6 weeks.